How you going, guys, and welcome back to another video. I know it's been some time since I've done one of these, and I'll be doing a lot more hopefully in the future. So anyways, it's come to my attention over the last week about this new TBM that's come in, and it actually dropped yesterday afternoon. I looked at it yesterday morning and it was still not out, and then yesterday afternoon I got home and it was out, so I bought it pretty much straight away. Now there's been a couple of videos already out on this. I think the Black Square developers did some videos, and some other YouTubers that may have gotten early copies of the aircraft. But I've got to say, I've only seen a little bit of the aircraft. I've flown it a little bit already, so I'm not doing a first look video. I'm actually doing a review so far on it, and my thoughts exactly of how this aircraft can go in the future, and what I'd like to see, and a few other bits and pieces that I am just blown away by. I've never flown one in real life, but I have seen them at the airfield that I fly out of at Archerfield, and I've seen this exact model, actually, the 850, that is just down a couple of buildings away from me. I pity it's not the same livery or anything, but I would say that this livery is one of the best liveries I've seen on the TBM. It's probably one of my favorite, to be completely honest with you, but there is a bunch of different ones as well. So. But anyways, this is the Black Square TBM 850. So we do have a second TBM in the sim now, which is really, really good. Now, I'm not going to take away from Working Title and the developers of the modded version of the TBM and its glass cockpit. That is just phenomenal, what they have done over the years. And then we now have a newer model, which is a payway model, and it's just got a little bit more spice to it. Now, there is obviously quite a difference between the two aircraft. Obviously, first, it's taking note of the blades. We have 4 blades instead of 5, and the intake at the front there is a lot smaller than your TBM 930. Now, the 940 and the 930 are exactly the same, but the 940 has auto throttle, so you can't tell them apart. But you can definitely tell these two apart when you put them side by side. Not to mention that the 850 is a little smaller. It still has 4 seats in the back there, and yeah, I think it's probably lower to the ground as well, but it is an amazing aircraft, and what they have done to create an authentic aircraft for ourselves to get up there and fly around the world in the beautiful simulator that we have is just amazing. And it is a really good just a really all-round aircraft to learn in if you like your turboprops. So it's pretty good. It comes with an extensive 105 pages worth of information in the operations manual, which we'll bring up real quickly, and I'll show you. You can find this. This manual here in your file, the file that the aircraft is. So it'll be in the community folder. So if you go to the community folder and you look up the aircraft, and you go to manuals, and you'll see 2. You'll have a printer friendly if you wanted to go like full out and print out a thing for your book, and then you have this one here. If you have a color printer and you want the colored version, then by all means, you might need a few colors cartridges, because there is a lot of like a blackish gray here, and then black and gold. But there is a lot of colors in there, so if you want to print a friendly version, there is one. So you can definitely have a look. But so this is the operating manual. It has an extensive system thing as well. So it's got all different types of systems. It's got avionics systems. It's got electrical systems, which is really good in this aircraft, I got to admit. The heating and the cooling of the aircraft, and if you're doing turnarounds or whatever, you're going to have to be mindful of the aircraft is still hot and all that sort of stuff. It's not like some of the other aircraft where you can just start straight away or whatever. You might damage it or break it or whatever like that. You have failures turned on and all that sort of stuff. There is an extent of stuff. So you have your normal procedures, which we'll be going through, and we have our abnormal checklists for different things that may happen on the ground. So like there's an engine fire and all that sort of stuff. You can go ahead and you click any one of these. So we'll just click the cabin engine fire on the ground, and it will give you a rundown on engine fire ground. There it is. So If we go ahead and zoom in here so you can see it, yeah, you've got power lever idle, condition lever cut off, blade air off, air conditioner off, tank selector, pull for off, and then you got a few other, and then your evacuation. So there is an extensive. So I'll just bring that all the way to the top. There is a lot. Yeah, so there is quite a bit. Now I don't have the other. So there is ways of for the GPSs. I don't have all the GPSs installed, but I have most of them. I actually have them all. I just don't have the TDS thing, but we'll show you how to integrate all of that sort of stuff if you haven't already looked at it. So anyways, so back to the aircraft. So far, so good. Not many aircraft actually have the ability to look in your engine bay, which you can see just there. So we have the engine bay and all the turbines and the pipes and stuff going wherever they go. We can't actually get in there because there's a building. So there is a couple of turbine stuff in there, and probably behind there, if we have a look, I don't know if that's the supercharger or whatever it is, turbo. Could be, but don't know. I haven't actually looked into it completely. I just opened it up because it looked cool. But anyways, without further ado, let's just jump on in and close up all the doors, shall we? So we'll jump on into the back seat, and the key here will shut the baggage door. And then if you just press this button here, it will pretty much close everything. But you need to pull up the stairs first, and then push that button. The door will come down, lock up, and you'll see that it will pressurize there. So it's all pressurized, so it's green, ready to go. All right, if we come up to the front and we select, so I'll get rid of the, this is your adjustment for your foot pedals, but if we click it, it just closes those doors out the front there. And there's another one just down here at the pilot's feet, and it just closes them doors out the front. And again, we'll just close our main door here. We've got to bring up the steps first. Make sure you do that. Bring the handle close. And it should lock the door. And there it is. It's green. Now it's nice and quiet in the cab. All right. So now we're in the cockpit of the 850, and there is quite an extent of instruments and stuff like that. You're probably used to if you have flown the TBM in the past, but this is a little bit more gauges more than the glass cockpit, so it's semi-glass, I would say. You can't really change it back to gauges. That's what I would have preferred if you could like change like the PDFs and stuff, but you still have all your backups and all that sort of stuff like that. And over here on the right. Now the biggest thing is this is obviously not part of the aircraft in the real world, but you can change through to different things. So we can go to the so the very old, the KX155. And you can have both set like that. You can have completely old aircraft style, or you can have that with half of the KX51, or you can have the two 530s, and these are the working title ones because I have that installed. And then you have the 750. Now, how do you get the 750 to work on either one? We'll have a look and show you when we start up. Okay. So apart from that, basically everything is pretty self-explanatory when it comes to starting the aircraft. It is very similar to the original. So what we'll do is we'll run through the pre-flight checklist here. Okay, now I'm not going to use Track IR just yet. I actually have I've got a 3-monitor setup now, so I can see the wings. You might not be able to, but I can. And I have had people say that the head tracker is a little like motionless. They don't like my head moving around all the time, so I will just be using the mouse today for now. I'll probably use the head tracker for some things, but not all things. Anyway, so we're going to do a quick flight down to Brisbane. I have it all set up here. So if we have a look at the flight that we'll be doing today, I have the Navigraph chart here. And there she is. All right, so if you have a look at the Navigraph chart, we've got it asked about backwards at the moment. All right, so we're going to be doing the WACO3 arrival. We're not going to be up at whatever flight level it is, like 10,000 below. We're probably just going to join the WACO3 just here and then come around and go to OS OK. And then we'll come in to runway 19 right, and that'll probably be when we'll taxi off, and that'll be the end. And just a little quick flight down to Brisbane, just to show you the aircraft and how it all works, and yeah, quick little feel. Okay, so that's on the procedures. So we'll just go back to the chart so you can see it, and yeah. Anyways, without further ado, let's get this aircraft on the road, and I'll put the chart back up there when we do get closer. And we'll probably have a look at the ILS system as well. So with the ILS, if we're going to go to runway 190 right, we'll have a look at the ILS system. So I'll just pin that ILS there, and we'll also pin the wherever it is. Where did it go? I don't know now. It's gone somewhere. Oh, that's the, no, we don't want that. We want star. My bad. Do not listen to me. We want arrivals. We want arrivals to one on the left, don't we? One on the left. 190 right, my bad. Do we not have any to run runway 19 right? We'll have a look. See how we go. I don't know why there's not one there. There definitely will be one for this one. Something like that, anyways. We need to change. There we go. If we change that, that'll be better. Haven't really used much of this side of the... so we don't want that. I will go here. There we go. Right, let's runway 19 right. Alright, so we'll be over here. So we'll take off and then we'll head to OSKO. Alright, so that's where we'll be heading, and we'll go from there. So we'll pin the so that one there, I believe, is for the southern area. We don't want that. Maybe Woody. Yeah, we'll see how we go. We'll see which one the aircraft can pick up for us. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that for now, and we'll come back. I'm not going to muck around with it. We're here for the aircraft, not for... I haven't used that system yet too much when it comes to Navigraph as of yet. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get on and start the aircraft, okay? So we'll go up here, we'll go crash lever up, okay? Source selector is off, so this is your source, a battery or GPU. Generator set for main. Starter is off. Ignition, auto or off. So we're going to set it on auto. All exterior lights are off, and these are the exterior lights up here. It does not have a beacon, so for those people that turn their beacons on prior, all that. Your gyro instruments are all off, so all your gyros. So if you get to the startup and these things aren't working, that's because you haven't turned your gyros on, and I'll show you that. Emergency lights test. So if you don't know where your emergency lights test is, you can just go ahead and click on the, if we come up here, it should be in your emergency lights area here. So we go here, emergency lights test. So that will be it there, okay? So we come over here and we turn on those, and as you can see, the lights are turning up. So if you want, so emergency lights, and that's it. So if you want to have lights before the aircraft's actually turned on, there is your emergency light test, okay? And it will show you where different things are. So that's how you find those. Emergency light test, circuit breakers all in. Now this aircraft does do circuit breaker functionality. Right, there we go. So you can pull out these. So you don't want to have the red bar in. In some aircraft it's white. You just want to make sure everything is in and you can't see any red, and you'll be sweet. Okay. So that's all your circuits. So make sure your circuit breakers are in. If you want to do practice failures and all that stuff, you can just pull the circuit out and off it goes. Alright, so all de-icing switches, just like the other TBM, all your de-icing switches are down here, okay? So all de-icing switches are off and down, or off. Your landing light, landing gear is down, and you can do the tests when the aircraft's turned on as well. Your AP trim and radio master is off, so that's your AP and trims master. And your radio master's off, so your bleed air is over here. Bleed air is off. Air conditioner off. Dump is guarded, so that's your dump. Ram air pushed in, so your ram air's under here, if you don't know where that is. And then we have the auto fuel selector on manual, which we do. So auto fuel selector is on manual. We have the auxiliary pump on off. Tank selector is left or right. Now what we'll do is we'll just go in here and fill up the aircraft while we're on the ground. Okay, aircraft's full, ready to go. Alrighty, we have the ELT armed, which is over here, and that is completely armed, ready to go. Parking brake is set. Now the parking brake is just there, and as you can see, it's on. Parking brake is set. Manual override is off. That's your manual override, and that's down, and so it's off. Power lever is at full max RPM, and your flight level is in the idle position. Now you don't have to have that all the way forward. In some standing operating procedures, they don't bring that into play until the aircraft's ready to go. Otherwise, you'll have the blades. It's just wear and tear getting the blades going like flat out at the start of a flight, you know. So just keep them down for now. That's my opinion. Condition lever is your green, your red one. In this particular case, it's not the mixture control; it's a condition lever. So it only has 3 settings: off, idle, and high. Just like your other aircraft. Now this is a little different to the other TBM. The other TBM is an all-in-one motion. This actually has the 3 different axes, so just be mindful of that. Alright, so flap control is all the way up, so all our flaps are up, so just make sure they're all up. Condition, battery check supply, so battery power check supply. So if we come up here and turn the battery on, yoink, you can see we're at 21, okay, 21 volts. And over here, if you leave it on EMT, okay, we can scroll through here and you'll be able to find if you've got some battery information there. It should tell you, but that's when the aircraft's turned on. Alright, so source, so we've checked the battery's on now, so we're above 25, which we are. So we have a lot on that here. We're not on 21, we're on 26, my bad. So about 25.5. Alright, light test. So if we come down to here, and we hit this button here, we've got a light test there. So that is the ECS test. We also have your tests 1 and tests 2. Alright, so that's the light test. Exterior light panel light test. So you just go ahead and turn all your exterior lights on if you wanted to, and you can look outside. Fuel gauges quantity, so your fuel gauge is over here, and you'll be able to see the 2 needles are over the top of each other, so we have all got full fuel. And then we have the advisory panel, which we've just done, so there's that one, there's that one. Oxygen extinguish. So oxygen extinguish, yes, it is extinguished. Interior lights as required. Test environmental settings, which is that test which I did just before. Then we have flaps down, so we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to test landing gear panels tests. So that's 1 and 2, done. All right, and then we're going to turn the pitot heat on. So pitot heat is over here on your de-icing, and you're going to check up here to make sure that they're extinguished. And then we're going to turn the pitot heat light off, and then we'll have all of those pitot heats back. And the light test for the de-icing is down the bottom here, just like on the other TBM. All right, so pre-flight is complete. Nose, all your baggage and all that stuff is secured, ready to go. We don't have to turn the battery off because we're about to start anyways. Pilot door latched and locked, cabin door latched and locked. Parking brake is set, seatbelts are fastened, and oxygen supply is on. We don't have any passengers today, so we're just going to go ahead and turn our oxygen on. Passenger oxygen off, microphone selector is set to normal, starter is set for off, ignition auto, which we've left on, landing gear down, radio master on if you need clearance, source battery is on, hold horn test, so your horn test is up here. Alright, that's all good. Fuel gauges check quantity, which we already checked before, but you double check just in case so you don't have any leaks. Fuel selector set to auto. So we'll select that to auto like that. And then we'll do a shift so we know we're in left there. And we'll hit the shift button and then we're in right now. Alrighty. Moving on to engine instruments check. So you've got all your instruments, nothing's hot, everything's good. ITT test, so if we hold this down, we've got a test and the needle works perfectly fine. It goes right up to its max, which is good, and then back down. That's the ITT test. ITT functionality, which we did, and exterior lights is required. Now, exterior lights for today will be, we're going to turn on nav lights, and then we're going to go ahead and turn on pulse and the landing lights because we want outside to know that we're about to start. So if you don't know what that means, if you have a look out here, you'll see that the landing lights pulse on and off. It's a little bit better in the dark time. You don't actually have to do that. That's just what I do. So anyone walking in front of the aircraft will get a big flash of LEDs in front of them. Because we're about to start the blades. Okay. Engine start. So we got manual override lever off. Power lever is at flight idle. Max RPM. We're not going to do that today. We got the cutoff down here. Battery source on. Fuel bus. Fuel. Boost pump on or auto. We'll just turn it on for now, and the illumination has come out. No, it's on. Sorry, illumination is on. Fuel pressure is extinguished, which it is, and ignition is set to auto, and starter is on. So we select auto and then start it on, and then after that, you'll see down here NG will introduce power to flight idle at 13%, which is about there. So that's flight idle. We're going to check the oil pressure down here, which is going up to green now. So once all of that is done, ITT below 8. So it went up a little hot, but that's okay. So it should stabilize below 800. Maximum was 190, which is okay. So it'll stabilize. That's within 20 seconds. So that's all done. It's all sorted. So starter off at 50%, which is now. So starter off at 50%. All the oil pressure and that is extinguished. Auto fuel pump selected to auto. Generator annunciator is all gone. Volts and altimeter is charging. So we should be at 28 plus charging on the amps, which we are. Now the aircraft is fully ready to go. Now you do have a GPU one as well, so you can have a look at that. So what I do now is I will chuck it up to, I'll bring the feather all the way up, bring the RPM all the way up now. And then I'll bring high idle into play. And that is the aircraft sorted. Alrighty. Oops, there we go. Alright, so the next one we need to turn all our gyro instruments on, so we're turning all of these on, and you'll see them all come to life, okay? Then we have gyro suction green. Now, if you do the checklist in the game, you're not going to be able to see the after engine start, okay? So you want to make sure that that's all there. Alright, so you want to check that everything's on the green. Windshield left and right, check on the green. Windshield heat off. So we'll have all of that, and then we have that. We'll set the standby, and you'll see that we are no longer charging, and we're starting to lose power. Put that back there, and off we go. Now we have flaps, so we're going to bring flaps up now. Bleed air to auto. Right, bleed air is set to auto, air conditioner on, and we'll set the fans to on. I'm going to set the air conditioner to just about 20 degrees. It's a bit warm. Airflow distributors, yeah, we've already done that. The elevation. Now, if you want to come down here to elevation, I'm going to set that to 500 feet, which I've already set it and I've remembered, so I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. And then the cabin arrow, we want to make sure that it's up, and before we turn anything on, we want to make sure that the and I left that at standby, so it should remember. So the aircraft does have a semi-remembrance on where you leave certain things. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the aircraft on now. So underneath here you have your... So to go through a self-test, and once it's tested, then it'll come up. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and turn on the... So what do we got left? So that's up auto flow, air conditioner set as required, cabin temperature set, arrow, yep, cool. Move on to the next page, autopilot engaged, taxi lights off as required. Radio master on, okay, so radio master on, yep, okay, so the next ones we need is the radio master's on, and the trim's on, and as you can see we've got some volts down here as well. Okay, we are pretty much mostly set up. Electronic trim tests, so you can just test to see if the electronic's working. We're just going to bring that up to takeoff. Taxi lights on, so we come up here and have a look at the taxi lights. Taxi light is on, and we can go ahead and turn the landing gear lights off and turn the pulse off. The pulse will stay on for the taxi lights, so just be mindful of that. Alright, so everything's turned on, okay? So far, we want to find the inertial separator, same spot. We want to make sure that that comes on. Inertial separator is for like grassy fields, birds, all that sort of stuff, so we don't have problems with the engine when we take off. And the parking brake release extinguish, so I'll just have a look at that. So off and on, so it's good. We'll go ahead and turn on the radio systems. So we've pretty much all done that. So now, I did say if you've got the PMS 750 or the other one, if you, depending on which one you have, you just click this little blue memory card and it will switch between the two. I don't have the other one installed, as you can see, but I have this one here, which is the PMS version. And yeah, so we'll just set that to standby. I don't know why it keeps doing that. And make sure everything's all good. We're also going to turn the PTOs on. So that's all set. So that is basically the aircraft starter. We'll go ahead and select origin for YCAB, which is Caboolture here in Australia, and set destination YBBN, and set destination like that. We're also going to select a departure. None. There is no departure, so we're not going to worry about it. We'll select an arrival to YBN. Not 100% sure what arrival I want, so we're not going to worry about an arrival. Let's do an approach to 9 right. Was it Zulu 9 right? and we'll head out there. So we'll load approach. There he goes. It's active for some reason now. There we go, and we'll fly out to that approach. All right. So if you want to know what that approach is, so we'll bring up the approach of 19 right. So we'll grab that in there, and we have to be at 3,000 feet at SOK. So we'll put that up there on Navigraph when we get up in the air, and we'll go from there. Okay. Window 1. Alright, so we'll probably be taking off at runway 11, which is the other end of the grassy fields. In this case, I think it's a dirt field, so... Now, in this point in time, if you wanted to, you could probably go low idle if you wanted to. That's up to you. Alright, once we get going, just do a brake test, that's good. Bring the flaps down to takeoff position. Now, this is the paid airport for Caboolture. If you've ever flown out of Caboolture and you'd like a pay airport, this is from Orbix Simulations, or Orbix, whatever you call it. I call it Orbix, and I get all of my Australian sceneries from them. They also have Brisbane, which you'll be seeing when we get there, and quite a few airports around Australia. I used them a lot in the older sims, and I'll be using them a lot in the newer sims as well. Alright, almost should wait for us. Alright, so we need to get some information from the Navigraph chart here. We are going to do an ILS, but I'll do a hand flight ILS approach. So in the top... so we do have the VOR, but I don't think the VOR works anymore. So 1320BN, that's been turned off, I believe. But we only want the 109.3 there, and the 196. Yeah, the 196 ILS course line. Okay, so over here in nav, we're going to change the nav here. So 109.3. Alright, so that's the, and then we'll switch that over to there. Alright, so we'll go on alts now for that one. And if you were in VATSIM, you'd probably be on 122.8 at this airfield. I'm not in VATSIM at the moment. I am off it for the purpose of the video. So we're on that. Okay, so we can go ahead and turn the landing lights on. Now the landing lights will be pulsing left and right because the taxi lights are on, and the taxi light brings up the pulse. If you have a look outside, as you can see, they're pulsing left and right. Alright, for those people that don't follow the weather and stuff, if you press and hold B, it'll bring the barometric altitude up, and if you're in a gauged aircraft with gyros and stuff, press and hold D and it'll bring all the compasses in line. So that's a quick little trick if you don't know those. I did it for the purpose of the video because we're not here to talk about weather. Okay? Alright, so basically we can actually turn on the weather radar now. So 1 for the test, and next it will be on. I believe the weather radar does work in this aircraft. as well. I believe, I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into all the information, and I haven't flown in weather to find out yet, so... But it is turned on, ready to go, just in case there is weather out there. So I'm going to turn the course needle to 111 110. There we go. That's set for 110. We'll also select the heading for 110 as well. Now there is like a little your normal heading bug and all of that sorted out down the bottom there, but you can also see numbers. So both of them are set for 1 each, 110. Alright, so in this instance, if you were going to be talking to the tower, you would bring up your call sign, and you would have already asked for, like you would have told them for taxi, but in this point in time, say we haven't, we'll just say Caboolture traffic, Bravo Sierra Tango, type TBM 850, taxiing for runway 11, holding point. So that's what you would normally say, but since we're already there, you would have already said that way back at the apron, or before you hit the maneuvering area, left the maneuvering area, sorry. And now you wouldn't have to say your type, you just say Caboolture traffic, Bravo Sierra Tango, lines up and rolls, runway 11, southern departure. Okay? Or southeast departure, or southeast. So we'll just say southern departure for the sake of it. Alright, so we're lining up and rolling. So we can go ahead, turn taxi lights off, strobes on. We're going to set the autopilot. Now the autopilot for this aircraft is down here. So I'm going to set that to 3000. Because that's our altitude that we need to be at. So this has a small concrete field at the back, and then it turns to dirt. So. Alright, brakes on. Everything's all full forward, just in case you have gone back to low idle. That's up to you. Okay. So we're at the airfield now, the end of the airfield, and we're going to get ready for our departure. So brakes on. Park and brake eliminated test, terrain test push, a terrain test warning, power levers to 1900 RPM. So we bring up the power. I'll feather the aircraft. Once the aircraft's feathered like once or twice, then we can go back up there. And then you can do prop governor tests to make sure that the RPM drops to 1800, and then you have back up to 1900 flight idle test, fuel and balance, all that sort of stuff. Pilot Peter heats on, all that on, strobes, take off. So that's like your run-up test sort of thing. Alrighty, so for takeoff, we want 100% torque, so we're going to throttle up 100% torque, let it idle. Brakes off. Try and stay on the runway. Oh! And there we go. We got a big strong wind out to the right there. So just a bit of right aileron to keep the plane from flipping over. Alright, we got a positive rate of climb. 130 is the best climb rate for this aircraft. Flaps up. She's pretty bouncy out there at the moment, so doing alright. Alright, so we'll select heading. We'll select the V speeds up and autopilot on. Just playing around with the autopilot, trying to get it to do what I want. Ah, there we go. So that's 4. That'd be 3,000 feet there. We can also hit nav. Once we've hit nav, what we'll do is we'll set the GPS on there, hit nav, and the plane will fly the nav route, which is no problem. You can fly it all in all up to you by yourself. Alright, so that's a little bit on the autopilot, which I kind of like the autopilot. It's really, really good. So we've got the flight director on, and we've got everything. We're coming up to our... Alrighty, we're coming up to the 3,000 mark and out to OSOKO, and we've also got the ILS put into the aircraft as well. Now you can put the ILS in the other field, wherever your second radio is. It'll be somewhere. I'd say that'll be your second comms. So over here. Let's just push that in. 0930. Plot that in there like that. That's if you're on the right hand side of the aircraft. For this point in time, you just use the left side. So just COM 1. Nothing special really when it comes to anything else. So we'll bring the props back to 19. So we're not overburdening the torque. I'll bring that to about 90%. As you can see, we are coming, according to Navigraph, we should be pretty close to OSOKO. So we do have a little bit of weather out to the left here, and the weather radar is working, so that's affirmative. We do have a working weather radar. Alright, so now the aircraft will adapt itself to the... And as you can see, it automatically went to 196, so we don't have to do anything. The autopilot does a lot of stuff by itself, which is really good. It should just completely line up now with the approach. Once we're all on the approach, we can hit the approach button and the aircraft will take over now. As you can see, I'm kind of inclined to just like land manually, automatically, and see if it actually works. We'll glide the slope down and we'll do it ourselves. But yeah, the aircraft is very smart. It does the ILSs really well. Quite like it. And it will line up perfect with the runway. Hopefully every time. Well, we've got approach set in there now. Alright, so the speeds for landing gear is 170. So we'll do all of that later in a bit. We'll put the power levers full and just start bringing the torque back to about 20%. Alright, so for some reason she doesn't want to go down. Oh, maybe I have to do that. Yeah, I've got to do that one. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. So we can descend at 2,000 feet per minute with this aircraft, so it's no big deal. We can go flat landing gear down. Now I have a Bravo throttle quadrant, just so you guys know. And once you're all lined up, it's pretty good to go. So autopilot off now. So we'll take over and fly the ILS. But I do like how the aircraft just pretty much did it all itself. I've really enjoyed it so far, and how different things work. It's already at almost 120 knots there. Now it looks like we do have a crosswind from the left because the aircraft wants to crab over that way. So that's no problem, we'll do a crosswind landing. Alright, flaps on. So flaps take off and keep the descent coming down 1,000 feet per minute. Once you get the pappies, 2 red, 2 white, then just fly the glide slope. I still can't see the pappies, so we're just going to shallow the glide slope out just so I can, because we are getting pretty close to the edge of the water there. So we'll just shallow it out until we get close. So don't worry about trying to get the nose of the runway to the aircraft. Otherwise you will end up veering off. So like if I try to do it, if you have a look. So I'll try and get the nose to the aircraft. As you'll see, my aircraft will want to crab back, and I'm now actually aiming for the tree line. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is find out where it's crabbing from, or where it's crabbing to, so we know we've got a left crosswind. And you want to kind of position it so you keep heading towards the runway. So it looks like we're on like maybe 10-20 degree offset by the looks of it. So that's no problem. Alright, so we'll go landing flaps. There's only 2 flap settings. There's takeoff and landing flaps. And I think I can kind of see the pappies there. So we've got 2 red, 2 white. So we're on glide slope, which is great. You can change this around here to your glide slope as well. Alright, so quickly bring the course around to 196. So that's your glide slope one there. So I probably should have set that up for you. I'll show you where that is when we get on the ground. So while I'm trying to land, try and set glide slope up as well. There's 196 there. So we are above glide slope still. So as you can see, GS there on the... So you can probably like just not even look at the runway anymore and just look at the dial down the bottom here. So we're still above because the glide slope is below the field there. So there we go. It's now, we are now on glide slope, but we are right of the runway. And we are very low on speed, so bring the speed up again. Come over to the center of the runway there. And she is very choppy, guys. Very, very choppy. Alright, at this point in time, get a right rudder just to bring that nose around. Alright, so we are high now, but that's okay. Don't want to stall into the ground with this aircraft, but there you go. And then we pull back, let it glide in off the throttle. There's a stall, and we're done. Probably a hard landing, but not too bad, given the fact that I didn't really look at the weather today. So not too bad at all. And that's the glide slope. So flaps up on this. Once you're landed, you can come over here to your transponder and go standby. We'll turn taxi lights on, so we'll get the flashes going, and then we'll turn off the strobes. At this point in time, we are now off the runway, so no entry at Brisbane, and then we'll taxi out to the right here, and then we'll head in on Zulu, I believe, and then come out on Yankee. It's up to the tower. So I think this is Zulu and the other one's Yankee. They run parallel to each other, or it could be the other way around. So we'll just head down here anyway, because we're going down to the GA apron. So this should be Zulu. So we'll bring up this one here now. Go here and bring up that one. So yeah, we're on Zulu, which is alright. So new fireys are out here to the left here. So we want to keep the aircraft from wanting to go into the wind. So I'm going to just put the ailerons into the wind, so the wind is coming from our right now, and just monitor the aircraft on the taxi line. Just keep it centered. Basically put bum over line, basically, and then you know that your aircraft's on there. If you're finding it too hard to taxi at high taxis, I tend to taxi high at big airfields, so we're not holding up. So look to the right here. No aircraft's coming. Oof. I would have had my second screen up. Well, my third screen. And yeah. Oh, so there we go. We shouldn't have too much of a problem trying to keep straight now. Alright, so we'll come out here to the left, out to the left of the airfield out here, where the GA is, and yeah. But so far so good. I'm absolutely loving the aircraft. It's an immense piece of kit. I absolutely love it. For those people that like the TBM 930, I'm pretty sure you're going to like this aircraft. The systems that are pretty much been put in place for this aircraft, like you can do almost anything and everything when it comes to your... So I'll turn the landing lights off now. We don't need those flashing. Like if you want to do any of your emergency procedures and all that sort of stuff, this aircraft is your go-to. Anything from Black Square that I know of at the moment. The King Air is pretty amazing as well. I've got that. But this is, I think this is their first aircraft. The King Air, all of their analog overhauls were ripped off from the simulator. This is their first aircraft, I believe, that is not part of the simulator. First really good aircraft. And yeah, I'm absolutely blown away with it. And we'll be doing a lot more flights in it. The reason we took off from YCAB is that's another thing. That's how I'm doing that's my base of operations at the moment for my Air Hauler 2 that I'm starting up. And we'll probably do a few flights in that and show you around Air Hauler 2. And the virtual airline as well. So if you ever want to come and join the virtual airline, by all means look up Oz Aviation, and there'll be quite a few aircraft and maybe a few of these TBMs in there for you to fly. It's all general aviation flying and possibly airlines in the future. But yeah, there'll be TBMs for sure, doing cargo and passenger flights. I'll set up a couple of aircraft for passenger flights. If people would love to do flights to and around Australia. So there'll be some really iconic ones and maybe some not so iconic ones, and just to make some money for yourselves and the virtual airline. So anyways, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we'll pull around to the right here. And I'll get rid of the... So you know where we are now in the thing. So I'll get rid of that and transition that out there for you. Now I'm just going to check the right hand wing here. Having triple monitor setup is amazing, absolutely amazing. What I'd love to do is see if I can get what I could probably do technically is actually show you. So we got window 1, which we can open up. And window 2, and then I can swap that over, and then you can kind of see what I can see in the top right hand corners, which I think is pretty cool. Don't have to use track IR as much, and yeah, it's amazing. So you'll probably see a few videos like this where you'll have the I was hoping that it'd be running. Maybe. I wonder if you'll be able to see it if I move. Doesn't look like it. That's a bit of a pity. Oh well. I would have liked you to see both of them as the aircraft was moving, but no problem. That's okay. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I really hope you do like the TBM just as much as I do. And yeah, it's obviously a great piece of kit. If you do like it and you want to get a little bit more into it, yeah, I suggest get this aircraft. It's a really good aircraft. I absolutely love it, and I'm pretty sure you will too. So just a real quick shutdown. You can just bring the engine down, and then up the top here, just shut down the battery. Yoink. Deal with all the lights and stuff the next flight around. But yeah, you do the shutdown properly. That way, when you do come into the aircraft the next time, you don't have to go through all your checklists and all that sort of stuff, because this aircraft does save all battery and all switches and all that sort of stuff states. So if you kind of want that realism where you shut down the aircraft and all that sort of stuff, this is the aircraft for you. You can't just shut it down and expect everything to be in its place when you jump in it tomorrow morning. Otherwise, you'll have to go through all the checklists and switch them all back, which I'm going to have to. So yeah, anyways, thank you very much guys for watching, and yeah, I should be doing a little bit more videos instead of like the year and a half that I haven't been doing videos, but thank you very much guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.